Hello everyone. Now you will hear a full recap of the movie. Get the Gringo. Enjoy watching. Two bandits in clown suits are trying to escape from a police chase and rush to the Mexican border. One of the criminals is seriously injured. He coughed up blood from the stolen money. The dealer turned off the road and drove straight through the field. On the other side of the fence, the violators are being pursued by Mexican border guards. At some point, the American noticed an embankment and used it as a springboard to fly through the fence. The car flipped over several times and froze in place. The Mexicans wanted to return the criminals to their neighbors, but their plans changed when the officer saw a pile of cash in the car. "We will have to take it ourselves. Then my advice to you: bury them so that they never get out." The Americans were thrown into the car. While one was being interrogated under partiality, the second had already kicked the bucket. The officers of Vasco Serrano Mayor kept the money for themselves and threw the criminal into the famous El Pueblito prison. In the detention center, the newcomers were tortured with music for 6 hours straight by sailors. Seasoned prisoners walk around the prison with guns. This is something new. They tried to take away our hero's shoes, and when he politely refused, the whole crowd beat him up. The prison director greeted the new arrivals. After the torture, the music continued. An employee of the American embassy noticed that a U.S. citizen had somehow gotten here. 5,000 songs later, the prisoners were transferred to the main building. This strange prison is more like a Mexican ghetto. Alcohol and drugs are freely sold here. Women do laundry and get their nails done right on the street. Children are running around everywhere. Gringo saw the bandit who kicked him in the monkey house and went after him to the toilet. USA did not have time to relax. Gringo pulled him by the legs and hit his head on the toilet. After that, he took his wallet and watch. In the toilet was the most valuable item, a pistol which Gringo hid for the future. The locals sleep right on the ground. Some kind of routine is still observed here. Gringo was woken up and sent to sort through the trash. At the local dump, used syringes were found. Local dealers are buying them. Suddenly, a crowd of bandits broke the newcomer. The nurse who came with them took blood from the American without asking. Someone was in charge of this place, and clearly not the warden. Gringo noticed an important person and began to watch him. Fatty called the guy who was standing above in a robe. Apparently he is the boss here. Where did he get such a robe? I urgently needed to improve my social status. Gringo bought himself a day off for 25 cents. Then he noticed a takeout stand, a stall where they inject heroin into anyone who wants it. A local dealer had saved up a decent amount of money. Gringo stole the fuel and set his booth on fire. When everyone evacuated, the scoundrel stole the dough and filled his pockets. Now he can afford soda and cigarettes. Some kid asked him for a couple. He saw what Gringo had just done. Its weird manual shop burned down. And Dr. Rodrigo lost all his money somewhere. I'll tell anyone, there'll be all over the corpses. A cigarette. The kid has been living here for 7 years. His dad was a dealer. Every prisoner can bring his family here if he has enough money. The kid got it right away from his mother when she saw him with a cigarette. The consul met with the American. The man is trying to find out who this Gringo is and how he got here. He copied his fingerprints. That means he's a serious thief. Gringo preferred not to talk about the $2 million. An American asked a local realtor to give him an apartment. He doesn't want to live without a roof over his head. The standard room is a bunk with a curtain. But the business class cell had a casino. They serve special prisoners there. Dozens of prostitutes. The kid's mother works in the elite block. Why are you so gawking? Several people were shot this morning while trying to escape. Everything except freedom is sold in El Pueblito. The kid told about the boss. His name is Chavi, and he can leave prison at any time, but he must always return. For some reason, the boy dreams of killing him. Fat as Crocus Brett. Chavi and the petty king of invisibility Karna. His cousin the consul found out who arrested Gring and began to keep an eye on Vasquezos and Reimer. These policemen began to live in luxury. Where did they get the money? Sunday is visiting day in El Pueblito. There were rides for the kids and dozens of tents for conjugal visits. right in the middle of town. A kid was fighting with another kid. Caracas immediately stopped the fight. All the gangsters are watching to make sure nothing happens to this little guy. The kid himself wanted to stab Javi, but Gringo talked him out of it. The guy wants to understand what's so special about this kid. He killed my father. The kid said that Harvey killed his father and transplanted his liver. That's why they're so protective of the kid. He's the next donor. They test the blood of every prisoner. But no one else is suitable. And soon there will be a new operation. You don't want to kill Hobby, but you have to kill Hobby before he kills you. Gringo offered to partner with the kid. They'll take down this Hobby. The mother softened when she saw that Gringo no longer lets her son smoke. Meanwhile, dressed-up dirty cops visited the prison. They wondered whose money they were spending, because the other two policemen had been tortured for a long time and then brutally murdered. You have no idea who we are, Hadho. Gringo put the stolen watch on the boy's hand so that he would give that young bandit a slap. He himself cleaned out the pockets of the colonel, after which he divided the money with his partner. The mother invited the American for a beer. She, like her husband, got 15 for storing 3 kilograms of powder. So are you married, easy lady? You're getting carried away. This chubby has incredibly rare blood. 1.5 million people. Her son could come at any moment. The relatives do not respect Cardinal. He does not run his business well, and now he does not pay the rent. He lies saying that someone robbed him. Suddenly the Cardinal bandit remembered the boy with the watch. Apparently he and Gringo conspired to take his money. Enraged, Karna attacked the kid and his mother. The bandit decided to settle scores with the American. He had a gun with him. Gringo ran into the toilet to get the hidden gun. He knocked down the bandit and then rushed to rescue the family. However, Caracas arrived before him and beat up his relative. Q's got mad and was about to beat Carac with a frying pan, but Gringo arrived in time and knocked down Carnal. Javi is angry, mostly because his dead cousin soiled his operating room with blood. At first Javi wanted to knock down Gringo, but he realized that this American knows a lot about them. First they need to find out who he is and only then kill him. The consul called and said that he knew approximately where the money was. For a small percentage he would help the American get out of prison. However, Gringo does not play by other people's rules. He immediately ran to Rocco's and told him about the cops who took his $2 million. It seems they forgot to share their share with the bandits. But other serious people got to the police first. They were sent by the owner of the stolen money. True, 1.7 million remained of the entire amount. Cut off his finger. Dave already cut off 2. The boss is on his leg. Cut off the third one. No. It turned out that Gringo stole not 2, but 4 million. Frank ordered the execution of these idiots. Ramirez had already received his bullet, but Vasquez was saved by the Zex, who arrived in time only to kill him with their pistol. Frank heard the name JV. So, he would find his money with this Mexican. The first thing Frank did was bribe the consul. He gave a tip on the Gringo and paid the guards to let 3 thugs into the prison, and if necessary cover for them. The kid was the first to notice the 3 cowboys. They opened fire, but instead of the Gringo, they shot a bunch of locals. The armed prisoners started shooting back. Random victims fell to the asphalt. Gringo also entered the fight. A guard opened fire on him from a tower. They had to knock him down. The last cowboy threw a grenade at the Caracas. The kid and his mother were nearby, so Gringo intercepted the grenade and returned it to the mercenary. He had too many problems because of this American prisoner. When the massacre was over, Javi sat 2 guards on chairs and blew their brains out with 1 bullet. But Gringo offered to save his life. He would get to Frank and kill him, thereby saving the Mexicans from problems. Kill him, but don't come back after that. The authority will provide the Gringo with weapons and transport, but he should stop communicating with the kid. The warden said that 2,000 soldiers would soon descend on the place because of the massacre brothers. It's time to think about moving to a new prison. Hobby doesn't want to lose the boy, so they'll perform the surgery right now. Gringo was released given a car and a gun. Whether he kills Frank or not, he himself will be removed in any case to lure Frank out of Critter. Gringo organized a meeting between him and businessman Kaufman. The boy's mother saw an unfamiliar white man in a suit and realized that he was a surgeon. She prepared a shelter for the boy in advance and hid him there. Gringo noticed a tail behind him a long time ago. He bought a cheeseburger and stuck it in the exhaust pipe as a pursuer. When the car stalled, the former military man took them out with a sniper rifle. The woman was tortured with electricity so that she would give up her son, but the Mexican woman only spat in Javi's face. The boy himself came to authority and stabbed his liver with a sharpened object in front of his mother. The boy was brought to the operating room. Perhaps he was unable to damage the organ. Gringo arrived at Kaufman's office and introduced himself as Frank's man. He knocked the businessman out and met Frank and his assistant. Without further ado, Gringo threw grenades at their feet. The deed was done. Now they could return to Mexico. The surgeon confirmed that the kid had missed. The liver was intact. Javi insisted that the operation be performed today. Gringo found the console and learned that the prison was being closed and that Javi was about to receive a new liver. The American paid prostitutes to season the console's genitals with hot chili sauce. The prison was surrounded by hundreds of police officers. The operation would be performed right during the assault. The special forces began to clear out the criminal town, and the surgeon made the first incision. Gringo was able to enter the prison using the console's documents. Shots were heard from time to time. Some of the bandits resisted. Gringo began to break through the barricades of thugs. He found a bag of money but forgot about it and rushed to save the boy. They had already taken his liver out of his body. Put it back where you got it. Gringo left the gun on Kava and ordered Caracas to bring the boy's mother. He cheated and sent his men first. Gringo shot them, but the surgeon's assistant held a gun to his head. However, this was a trick on her part. She preferred to save the child rather than help the fat bandit. Gringo also put on a robe and helped roll the boy out onto the street. By the way, he did not forget about the money and took the bags with him. Some of the prisoners naively hid in a pile of garbage, but Gringo's plan worked. The special forces allowed the ambulance to leave the prison without any problems, and Kavi died after the escape. The American got the remaining $2 million, which he hid in another car. Now, he lives with a boy and his mother on the ocean shore. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.